Alright you guys, I'm going to show you one of my favorite ways I use Ableton Live 10. I love color coding stuff, love organizing the workflow, and I'm going to show you some of my favorite ways to use it. Alright, so we're looking at the screen here. I have everything set up in kind of an order. I have favorites for all plugins. You can have all of them in one general directory of your favorites where you can mix and match UAD plugins, Waves plugins, whatever you want. That's one of the best features by far. No more searching for stuff, even though that was and still is a useful feature. I mean, now you can even search within these favorites, which is really useful. But I almost structured all these collections in a different way so they feed into each other. So it's sort of like starting out with general, all the plugins, all the favorites there, moving on to synths, how you would treat the synths, how you would apply reverbs and delays, and then mastering. And then after that I have presets and samples. So those are a little out of order, but for some reason this method works for me, and I love ordering them so that each is numbered, and then you easily know the hotkeys for turning one off or on. So it's super simple. And this is a new way that I'm organizing everything. My new workflow is moving beyond just having these living templates that evolve over time to having modular templates and elements that share between each other. They share a common DNA. So an example of that is treatments. I may have different compression treatments in here. I may have different EQ settings. I've got some UAD plugins, some waves in here. And I might put my chain, my audio effect rack chain, might have one treatment, might have a couple treatments, and some unique effects in there. And I love that way of having leads ready to go, having treatments ready to go on buses, masters, depending on the track. So there's so many different ways you can use this. My favorite right now is putting them together. So under presets I have an effect rack for audio track. It's got a chain ready to go for a new synth, any kind of processing. It's going to have a high pass filter on it. It's going to have a compressor. It's going to have LFO tool for side chaining. It's also going to have, most importantly, a trim on there. So it's trimming down to -12. So there's plenty of headroom, and it's not going to clip any of the plugins. It's really important to set your gain staging properly and have it at -12, or it depends on your style of working, but bringing that gain back on the master fader later in the mix. I'll definitely put limiters on the buses to chop some of those signal peaks off, but getting it right from the source is really crucial. Otherwise you're going to have these cascading effects of several plugins clipping into each other. So it's better to start at the source, get it right, and move on. So I have one for audio tracks, I have one for bus, effects returns, one for the master. So, and they're variations on each other. This is my modular method of working. So if I drag this in here, the master, I drag the master in, it's got to have Fat Filter Pro EQ, Ozone 8 for widening, Ozone 8 for pink noise matching. It's going to have glue compressor and a Pro L on there. So it's easy to just sort of drag and drop, bring those in. There's also one for the effects returns, so in case I want to do some sidechain compression on there, some EQing, I just take all the common things I'll do to a track and apply that. So let's go in here. Let's go to the effects return. And I'm going to get rid of that delay that's in there. So immediately you've got your trim there. Depends how you gain stage it. I've got my Pro R reverb, which I love. Got a sort of bandpass filtering that. And then LFO tool. And the cool thing here is I like to have some plugins just set off. So maybe I don't want to start it with that sidechain on there. So I can engage that at any moment. I have not applied any macros to these. I've kept it flexible. Sometimes those are really useful, sometimes they really paint you into a box. So those macros can be super helpful, and assigning those to knobs and other key parameters. But sometimes it's best to leave those clean, and you could always save multiple versions of your racks, ones with macro, ones without. I think it's really important to look at how you're naming these presets and the nomenclature you use. So on here I have it pretty cleanly labeled, and it's audio effect rack, then the type of rack it's going to be, and then MP is my name. So it's sort of just tagging that preset in there. Now if I want to just drag in an instrument, I put the name of the synth, I put the type of preset that I've created, and this is just an easy way to get to my presets that I created for my splice pack for Serum, also for Spire, the pack I did with Alonzo Sound. So I can bring those in, and I'll play you an example. I clear out these audio racks. I'll bring in a bass lead, drag and drop, it's ready to go. So ready to go, super fluid workflow. Hopefully this helps you with your work in Ableton Live. Ableton 10 has a lot of really great refinements and small changes that add up to big time savings. I think it's about twice as efficient. So enjoy, I'll be hosting more soon.